Hi, guys.
Oh.
Sorry. 2, 1.
Hi, guys.
My name's Tabi.
And I'm Tristan.
And we are...
Loud and Wrong. Welcome to our first ever podcast episode. We really think it's important that you hear our loud and wrong opinions. I'm Tristan. I go to a certain college in New York City. I am a double major and I'm 20.
Period. I'm 20 as well. We both go to the same school and... yeah, we live in New York City.
And we know you are all dying for broke college kids' opinions on everything in the world because it matters so much.
Exactly. So
because we make such big waves.
We are here to give our...
Opinions
on about life and just talk to you guys about whatever. Talk about like pop culture, talk about advice.
We're gonna talk our crap.
Everything. Like,
we're gonna talk our crap and you're gonna listen because you know that you want it.
And like our name might be loud and wrong, but it's kind of false because 9 times out of 10 we're right. Like,
oh yeah.
It's just a joke, guys. It's just a joke.
It's just a joke. We know we're right.
Yeah.
We just need you to tell us that we're right.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So yeah, without any further ado, whatever the hell that intro was, let's continue. Let's continue.
Let's start off with we each have our top 3 songs of the week. So I shall let Tabi go first.
Okay. This is in no particular order, and honestly, I'm kind of like, I don't really know how this like song of the week thing is gonna work because I listen to so much different music. Like I listen to like every genre, and that's not like false news. That's the truth. I really do. But if I had to pick some for this week, the other day, and by the other day I mean last night, I was walking home, and I was like, out of nowhere thinking about XXXTentacion or XXXTentacion. I'm not sure how you say. But I was thinking about his music, and I just, like, went on his page and just hit shuffle and was, like, listening. And one song that I was, like, kind of, like, headbanging to was 1 Minute by him featuring Kanye West and Travis Barker. It was kind of, like, I could feel my feet moving faster as I was walking. It was giving me energy. So, yeah, definitely that one I might listen to as I walk again. And was definitely, like, a memorable song of the week. Okay. Another one is Dream by Priscilla On, because I made a documentary for a class, and in it, one of the key songs is this song that I found.
What like genre is it? Because I've never heard of that song.
I showed you the documentary, the one that she's dancing to, and then she becomes, like, it flashes back to her being a little girl, and the song is playing.
Right.
If you want to see that documentary, we'll link it in the description.
I did enjoy it when you showed it to me.
Period.
Very much so.
And then the other one, it just gives me, like, nostalgic vibes. You'll see the context if you watch the video. That's all I'm saying. The other one that I chose is not a song, but I guess if I had to pick a song, I'd choose, like, Running Wild, since that's the title track. Mm-hmm. But Jin of BTS just dropped his debut album, Happy, and the vibes of it are just so, like, energetic. I was listening to it the other day when I was riding not my bike.
Your private bike.
The city bike. The public bike. Through Central Park to get to work. And I was like, you just have to listen to the song, listen to the album. It's super short. It's probably like 15, 20 minutes. Listen to the album and envision yourself like riding a bike through the park. That's what I was doing.
Yourself
like,
as Tabi.
Exactly. That's what I was doing, and that's why I was like, this is just perfect. Like, it's making me feel so like coming of age and like free. So like that's definitely my top 3 right there for the week. And now,
so my first one is gonna be "It's Okay, I'm Okay" by Tate McRae. I'm not like a huge Tate McRae fan. Like I'm not that into it, but like something about that song makes me want to get naked and dance. I like that little clip where they go. Right, I'm not a dancer. I can't dance. I don't do that. But like, I love it. It just makes me want to like, I don't know, strut down the street naked like she did. You know? Another one that I know is like becoming popular right now is "Labor" by Paris Paloma. I originally got this from the Yellow Jackets TV series. I like their entire track for that series is just so good, but it got picked up because people are relating it to the election, and like it talks a lot about like social issues, which is really beautiful. And it's one of those songs that makes me cry a lot for no reason. I mean, there's a reason, but like not for me specifically. And then this one's kind of out of the blue, but it's "Walking Back to Georgia" by Jim Croce. He is so poetic and so beautiful. I love him, and it just makes me want to, like, that's the only song that makes me want to touch foot in the South. You know, like, I, like, my sweet little Georgia girl. Like, I don't know. That's the only song that I will say that I would go to Georgia for. Like, there's no other reason I'd go. No, not doing that.
We both chose songs that, like, the other one isn't really familiar with. Because
Yeah.
the only one I was familiar with that you mentioned is It's Okay, I'm Okay. But if it's popular on TikTok, that's probably why I haven't heard of it, because I'm not really on TikTok like that, so... Yeah.
Into it. So...
Okay, so our first, like, official topic is going to be the greatest pop star of the 21st century countdown. It's a list that, Billboard has put out, and they've been like slowly revealing who's on the list. And right now the only spots left are 1 and 2, and they have listed a lot of people.
Yeah,
We're just gonna talk about it a little bit. We'll put the list up somewhere where you can see, and let's just talk about it. Like, what do you think?
So there were a couple names that kind of surprised me on here, not to be kind of a hater, I guess. I love all of these artists individually, but the person that surprised me the most was Justin Timberlake, just because I understand that it was a period of time that people enjoyed, but I would never look at myself and be like, and we're going to the Justin Timberlake concert.
I think we're too young for it. I feel like maybe it's because he was like 90s, early 2000s. That's why, like, being in 2024, we're like, wait, Justin Timberlake. So like, I feel like that's why I'm like, just a little bit. One thing I will say, there are only 2 spots on this list, and they have not dropped Taylor Swift yet. So either she's not on the list, or she's about to be ranked
way too high.
And I say that as someone that acknowledges that she has hits, she has popularity, and that she has like a unique sound.
Yeah, regardless.
But when I look at the people in the top 10, even in her like peak, like I would say right now she's in her peak.
Yeah.
Even in her peak, we're talking greatest pop stars, and I'm just like, I'm not buying that she's number 1 and 2.
I can't.
And I'm not buying that she's not on this list at all. I think she should be on this list.
And so...
like, I just would not put her above Justin Bieber, Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
But where are they going to put Beyonce?
Where are they going to put Beyonce?
Because I know one of them is Beyonce. If one of them isn't Beyonce, then
we're burning it down.
We have issues. What's going on?
Then we're going from square one. Like, you're done.
Like, where's Beyonce?
No, honestly, the one that, like, I am shocked that Drake outranked Lady Gaga. Just in the sense that she was revolutionary for a group of people, and kind of, I don't know, I brought a lot of awareness to the queer movement at a time when a lot of people just wanted to shove it under the rug.
I think so.
You know, and plus, like, that, the VMAs, I think it's the VMAs performance in 2009, I want to say. I could be wrong, don't quote me on that. Of Paparazzi. Mm-hmm. I just, like, that is ingrained in my brain forever and ever and ever, because she sold the performance, and I think she should be higher than Drake. Still lower than Rihanna.
But I will say I do understand why Drake is there, because when the streaming era really took off, like, his numbers on Spotify are crazy. Like, One Dance ruled, like, 2016, 17, 15, like, he ruled the world. Yeah. One Dance everywhere. What was the Work everywhere? I can't even really think, like, off the top of my head right now, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Like, there was a time in the mid-2010s where Drake had the world in the palm of his hand. And, like, when you look at his numbers, they still check out today. So, personally, I think that that's, like, I kind of understand why he's so high and, like, up there. I think I will say, maybe, I think Adele and Nicki Minaj can switch spots. Only because... the amount of hits Nicki Minaj has under her name, her sound has been consistently in the industry for, like, over, like, 10 years. Whereas, yes, Adele has a really, like, strong following. She has hits. She has... It's just different. Like, Nicki Minaj was holding down the genre of female rap on her own for, like, 5, 6, 7 years. I don't know the exact number. But she just carried weight in ways that, to me, if we're talking about greatest, we're talking about impact, Adele just didn't.
Yeah, I understand.
And that's not disrespect to Adele, because I do think she should be on the list. I just think Nicki Minaj deserves her flowers just a little bit more than that. Like, come on. You can't tell me, before Cardi B came into the scene, it was everybody versus Nicki Minaj. She was the standard.
Yeah.
They were like, Iggy, and then they would compare her to Nicki Minaj. It was like, we got this person, and they would compare her to Nicki Minaj. The only person that really was able to, like, break that was Cardi B. And now it's like, okay, there's a bunch more female rappers. But before that, it was Nicki against the world.
Yeah.
And I think, like, to put her below, like, out of the top 10 is, like...
kind of crazy.
Okay.
Kind of crazy, I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
I was about to say the one that he always gets snubbed, and I always think it's wrong, is The Weeknd. Just because of his sheer numbers and his sheer following.
Exactly.
He outperforms Taylor Swift on Spotify every month.
Internationally, he is
for
so
years.
loved.
Like, he has been just so good in all of our, like, TV shows, movies. He's writing for everybody. He wrote an entire thing for that TV show with Lily Rose Depp, and he just carries everything. And he doesn't have
okay, but the question
he doesn't have a Grammy to his name. He works so hard.
Oh, we'll talk about the Grammys. We will talk about the Grammy. Well, not tonight, but
for future.
When the Grammys show, like the night of the Grammy, we'll talk about it, because I have words to say about that award show. But at the same time, if you're gonna say he should be higher, then who should he be higher than? Let's be real.
Well, that's hard.
Because that's what I keep doing. I'm like, well, this person should be, but then I remember, wait.
Okay,
it's kind of fair. Cause
there are a couple people that he should be higher than. First of all, Justin Timberlake. I've already expressed my opinions. Kanye West, get out. He did a lot.
He's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but his impact is undeniable.
He does a lot of stuff, but so is The Weeknd's. Impact's undeniable. He wrote 2010's like pop for me.
Okay.
And I can't in any way, shape, or form verbalize support for Kanye West.
Real. But I will say, if I had to swap The Weeknd with somebody, it would be Miley Cyrus.
Okay, yes.
It would be Miley Cyrus. I'm not.
She
gonna
has
lie.
Something going.
She
for her,
has her
and that's
some stuff.
That's a thing.
But I will say, as far as her recognition as a pop star, yes, she's very recognized as a pop star, but also it's just her being recognized for being who she is and being like a child star, being an actor. Like it's recognition from that too. So I would swap her in The Weeknd.
Yeah, I
it's
agree
not to
with
say that she doesn't have hits. It's not to say that she's not recognizable for her music, but it's to say, like, we're talking about pop stars, not just like pop culture icons. I would move her below The Weeknd. Like I would swap them.
I agree. I agree completely. I think that some people that were just in their placement was Bad Bunny. I think that was a good placement for him. Like he's definitely on there because he has such amazing, phenomenal music. I think that Ariana Grande could have been higher, but I think Britney Spears...
higher than who?
I can't tell you that. I think that Britney Spears deserves her placement.
I think Justin Bieber deserves her placement. I saw people that were a little confused by that. I'm relaxed. Y'all don't remember Bieber Fever? And that's another thing.
Bieber Fever was real.
Real. It was crazy.
I actually denounced the Bieber, like, franchise thing when I was young because I didn't consciously choose it, but like I did have the Justin Bieber haircut. I had this and so people were like, Justin Bieber, and I was like, actually I hate him. I didn't hate him. I went home, turned on my iPod, and I was like, yeah.
Shoot, I'll say it. Justin Bieber's my problematic fave. I don't care. Like,
period. I remember when he ran over a paparazzi's foot.
But, like, period. As he should. But my thing is, let's place our guesses on numbers 1 and 2. Wait a minute. When did Michael Jackson die? He wouldn't be...
2009.
Because what if he's a part of this?
I'm doing the research for you guys. Yeah, 2009. When did Prince die? What?
Yeah.
What? Okay, whatever. That's crazy to me. I don't know. I feel like...
Wait, when was Michael Jackson's last release?
I don't know. It was... 2001. So barely.
Okay, so he wouldn't be a part of this. Because
No.
I'm thinking that number 1 is going to... If I'm being real and honest, even though it's upsetting, I feel like number 2 is going to be Taylor Swift, number 1 is going to be Beyonce.
I agree, because...
Even though it's going to be upsetting, I just don't know, like, who they would put off the top of my head.
Yeah, at this point, I would have to agree. I don't want to recognize that Taylor Swift is going to be in the top 2, just because I don't think she deserves that. But I do think that with her following and her recognition, she's going to be number 2. And then Beyonce. If Beyonce isn't number 1, if Beyonce is not on this list, I think there are going to actually be riots.
Like, literally. Like, if
there ain't no
Beyonce's
way.
not on this list, I'm never taking anything seriously ever
No,
again.
this world
Like,
is fake.
It's done.
We're in AI. We are AI.
Someone, if the list extended, that I think should be on it is, you know, like Billie Eilish and Pink. I think they could have been on
Yes,
here.
don't get me
They
started
could
on
have been on
Pink.
here.
Pink is working all the time.
Mm-hmm.
She's constantly putting out music. She's
Yup.
constantly on tour. I think she's on tour right now. I went to it last October, so she's been on tour for over a year.
Period. I think Coldplay could have been on here.
Yeah. I think Billie Eilish might have been just like too
fresh.
You know?
That's fair. That's fair.
Which I think she is owed some recognition, but also Bad Bunny's on here. So
yeah, but you don't remember he's been doing this.
he's been doing things for a long time. I just
wasn't.
wasn't.
And he's
I wasn't.
so famous.
I wasn't in that phase. I must admit I'm a fake fan in that sense where I just went. I'm sorry, guys.
It's okay. We forgive you. If you had to place Taylor, we know where Beyonce belongs.
Mm-hmm.
But if you had to place Taylor on this list, where would you put her? Between who and who?
As an artist in total?
In total, including the fact that this is her peak year. Like,
Right. I would have to say... This may be controversial. I'm going to bring it back to Justin Timberlake. I'm going to replace her with Justin Timberlake and just boot him. We've already talked about Adele being a little bit lower. Love Adele. I will always love Adele.
Yes, respect to Adele.
Eminem is great. Ariana Grande is amazing. Kanye West had a big impact.
I recognize
Lady
that
Gaga,
Eminem's great. I just think he was like before me.
Yeah, he's pretty good. I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm not that far into it, but I would definitely put her right there where Justin Timberlake is at number 14. What about you? It's hard. These are all people that are like in our lives so much.
I think I would actually put her either like 9 or 10 because I do think she should be above like Nicki Minaj, Eminem, Adele, and even Ariana Grande. I say that as someone that likes Ariana Grande's music. I do think she should be above them, but I wouldn't put her above Justin Bieber and like Drake and Beyonce and like Kanye West. I wouldn't put her above them. So I think she deserves to be in the top 10, but more so in like the top like 5 to 10, not like 1 through 5. That's just how I would say that.
Period.
Hopefully you guys are able to visualize the shifts we're making.
Yeah, this is just like stuff that we really like felt the need to talk about.
Exactly.
And
let's cool. Is there anyone on here that you would swap? Like personally speaking,
like just get rid of?
I would take One Direction off of the list entirely if it meant Coldplay got to be on the list.
Wow.
Just because if we're talking like, and I say that like as someone that recognizes their impact, but if I just put them side by side with Coldplay, like streams wise, accolades wise, charts wise, hits wise, longevity wise.
Yeah. See,
like Coldplay not on here? Okay.
This may be a really big hot take, and I don't really care. I can't die on this hill. I would replace Katy Perry and Lil Wayne.
Here's what I have to say about that. Honestly, literally me too. My only thing is, I feel like this list came out after she kind of like tainted her legacy a little bit with that album. So I feel like
that was horrible.
In my whole heart, I feel like she was supposed to be higher. She did that, and they were like, knocked her down.
She's dancing on stage like doo-doo.
That was you, not me.
She just she did Chained to the Rhythm, Bon Appetit, please, those are such good songs. Something about
like the aesthetic, people just weren't buying it.
Yeah.
They weren't buying it. It wasn't giving.
100%.
But yeah, we can't talk about this forever, so
we could, but we don't need to. Today is the 20th of November, and today all that my social media has been about is Liam Payne's funeral. Yeah, so I'm gonna let you take the floor on that one.
This whole situation in general is like so sad. Drug abuse and it's like normalization in Hollywood. It just takes so many people every year.
Yeah.
Every year we lose so many people to drug abuse and just like neglected mental health.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. I will say what's crazier though is people showing up to his funeral.
Yeah,
that's what's crazier.
I was holding it in my heart that nobody would go. And not in the sense of they don't support him. Like, you've seen candlelight vigils all over every major city, like in Paris, Washington Square Park. I've seen it. Like, it's clear that the world loved this man and cared about him. But we didn't care about him enough to give him the respect of having a peaceful funeral. And that is heartbreaking. There are always going to be those crazy people out there that are just, like, they want to be in the action. And I'm at fault. I consume the media about his funeral, of people who were there that posted it. And I won't want to work my way out of that, but it's just heartbreaking that as society we can't allow the destruction of fame to prevent from showing up at a funeral.
Yeah, I feel like it would have been a bit more respectful if...
Sorry, New York City.
Yeah, I feel like it would have been a bit more respectful if fans just like didn't go all together. Yeah. It'd be one thing to like line the streets with flowers or something like that, or like pay for like billboards and advertisements on like buses and things. But, like, going and just standing out there for hours is kind of too much.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I didn't see any pictures or videos of his son entering the church, that's the one glimpse of hope I have. Or maybe he wasn't there. I think leaving the child out of it is the best option. If that media exists, then I'm unaware of it. But I think it's good to leave the child out of it. And it's just so evident in all of the band members' faces that they are shattered and they're heartbroken about it. And his mom, I, like, felt her. I don't know, like, her reactions. It made me so sad. Because I didn't
see too much media of it. I won't lie. I didn't see it. I'm not all the way there.
I'm not, like, the biggest One Direction fan. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I only like a handful of songs. I was never there. But, like, at the same time, this is somebody that is so intertwined with, like, early 2000s childhoods that you have to pay some kind of attention. Like, even if, like, you haven't consumed a lot of media about it, you've seen it. You know, like, you've seen something about it. You know, that's my piece about that, because I just thought I don't know, especially today, because I knew it was today, and I was like, girl, it's gonna be everywhere.
Yeah, I did see some media about it. My feed's been kind of mixed, but yeah, it's crazy. I mean, rest in peace.
I hope
it's wild.
I hope his son is doing better and that his girlfriend is gonna be okay. I hope for peace and happiness for them, and I hope that maybe if there are any other, like, band members that are heavily abusing drugs, I hope that they see it maybe as a wake-up sign and it helps somebody at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know, because that's all. Death is unjust and it's terrible, but you have to make flowers out of it. You have to see where it can lead you. You know? Next, on happier notes.
Yes.
Girl, we gotta talk about Ariana Grande and Cynthia.
Is this a happier note? What is?
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe not so happy, but like it's a little.
I don't
want to say lighter.
A little less permanent. But anyways,
my Lord.
Before we start, let's just spew all of our, like, you know, allegedly, in our opinion.
Yes.
We're
not yapping
We're just
facts.
chatting, okay?
It's called loud and wrong.
Exactly. Loud and wrong, loud in speculations, loud in our opinion, okay? So let's just talk about, there's so much to unpack here with, like, this wicked advertising. People saying
They're going
that
so hard.
They feel like it's just, like, slapping green and pink on everything. Like,
Yeah.
where do we even start? Where do we start? Let's start with the light stuff. The advertising. What do you think about it?
Advertising, okay. I think it's hilarious.
I think... And yes, they are slapping green and pink on everything. And what about it?
Yeah, no, the one that gets me every time is the Target commercial, where she was like, "That's my line," and then she goes, "Oh wow," and like everybody's just like in those giant heels and those giant nails. She looks fierce. Her vocal capabilities are unquestionable. But like for some reason, if somebody did that at a Target, I would probably throw something. Now, let's preface: we go to liberal arts school, so like musical theater people singing in the hallways is like normal for us. And I do have the urge to throw some soft objects at them. Soft. I want to be clear. Soft objects that are always my Squishmallows. I do carry one in my back pocket at all times for throwing purposes.
Yeah.
So that's my piece about that. And Bloomingdale's is beautiful. Like Bloomingdale's just unveiled their
they like the
window
outside
art.
Of the building is like green and pink.
It's so beautiful and it's so well designed.
I think there was some controversy about them doing certain like screening opportunities, like when they let the Kardashian Jenner clan have their like preview the movie ahead of time. Some people were upset about that. They felt like it was like you're just giving these privileged people more things. But I mean, I kind of get it. Like, if everyone watches everything the Kardashian Jenner clan does, then you might as well have them doing something with your product.
Yeah.
Like, so I kind of get it, like, that sort of thing. I know some people were like, why are they doing all that? Da, da, da.
Well, I think, like, showing, like, the Kardashians are famous because they're rich, and they're rich because they're famous.
Yeah.
And institutionalized rich like they are for so many generations, and it's just going to keep going. It's just, like, going to be a part of our culture.
It's unstoppable.
It's unstoppable. Yeah. It's going to be part of American culture forever. That's what I was trying to say.
The Kardashian Jenner clan is right up there with the bald eagle and beer.
Imagine Kim Kardashian comes out in cowboy boots, a bald eagle on her shoulder, and
For
beer.
Real.
And people would
fireworks.
slurp that
pew,
up.
Pew.
She goes, pew, pew. People would eat that up every day, and I think it's patriotic. I think sexiness is patriotic.
Keeping with the Kardashians is patriotic. It's very American of us.
Honestly.
Okay, now let's get into a little bit of the... How can I put this?
Oh, so she has dressed up like a cowboy.
Okay, period. Let's get a little bit into the more sensitive subjects that have been going around with Wicked. I've seen controversy of people, publications, especially in the UK, leaving Cynthia off of the cover when she's the main character.
Yeah, she is the main character.
And only having Ariana on the cover. People that on Twitter that are from the UK have been saying that this is like a racial issue and that this is like the erasure that Cynthia was pointing to when she got all angry on her Instagram story because someone like lowered her hat on the cover. It makes me wonder... If she said something about people making the cover look more like the play book, will she say something about her home country leaving her off of the cover of newspapers? Because that's her home country. She's from the UK. If she's not, ignore that part. But let's just look at it.
Oh, I can't spell. I can't spell. Yeah, she's from the UK.
Yeah, she's from the UK, and there are... I mean, someone posted a video of multiple newspapers leaving her off of the cover in her home country. I wonder if she will say anything about that.
But AI,
she said something so quick about the AI.
Funny. They were so funny. I was slurping that up. I was eating that up. There are two things in this life that I love. They're funny things and fight videos. And you would know about that. No, I love fight videos. And so, like, where it was, like, her whispering profanities in her ear and then them fighting, I was like, yes! Yes!
I did not see any of those.
I loved seeing them. I don't know why. I thought it was so funny. And I just thought it was such a specific topic to, like, talk about, because there's so many controversial things people are claiming about with Wicked, which
we're about to get into it, right? In 3, 2, 1. Okay, so now that we talked about the controversy, you like that transition?
I do like that transition.
We talked about the controversy with the cover and with the like representation in that way, and her being like left off, and also the pay gap disparity. I think she's getting like $2 million. And Ariana Grande is getting like over 10 million. Mind you, she's a main character, and clearly budget isn't an issue for this film. Like, there's been some discussions about the unfair treatment as far as that regard, and I do wonder if she will address it or if she has addressed it. Yeah, see these numbers? Tiny numbers.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay, this is according...
Over $10 million pay gap.
Yeah,
for the
over
same
$10 million.
Movie. And they do the same promotions, and
Michelle Yeoh.
They both were actresses before the movie too. Like,
yeah, Michelle Yeoh is making $1 million more than Cynthia, and she's a side character.
I wonder. That's my thing. I wonder if she'll be quick to address that. I mean, if she hasn't addressed it yet, then she's kind of slow to address it. But I wonder if she'll say anything about that.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder how that came to be. The main character is getting.
They had to have talked about numbers in their contract before.
Exactly.
So I don't know. Maybe it's just a dream role that she always wanted to play, and she was okay taking that amount of money.
Yeah, but even
I'm not sure.
Even like $2 million is still kind of low in general for Hollywood for a lead role like that. $2 million
in such an iconic film adaptation
that is going to pour this much into advertising. $2 million is low.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a low number in general. But you know what? What do we know?
What do we know? We're just two broke college kids yapping our yap.
Yeah. The next thing, we might insert a TikTok here that might better explain like some context for the situation.
Yeah.
But long story short, there have been some controversies about the visual like weight loss of not just Ariana and Cynthia, but in Hollywood in general, and like the resurgence of skinny equaling pretty.
Warning, we may be seeing the last of these two, as many are terrified that both their lives are in danger and they won't survive. People were terrified after thousands of videos suddenly went viral claiming that Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo are looking vastly eerie in their before and afters, saying they seem to be depriving themselves of something, fearing they might not be around much longer. Given the previous star of The Wizard of Oz, Judy Garland, was told by executives that she looked like a fat little pig with pigtails and was encouraged to smoke 80 cigarettes a day, which later contributed to her demise, and now many think this is happening all over again. Haunting viral blind items were being shown that Ariana Grande allegedly had stumbled and fainted multiple times backstage, and others saying both Ariana and Cynthia were going as far as competing in this department.
This A-list singer/actress fainted/stumbled multiple times yesterday because she refuses to eat. And again, this is allegedly Ariana Grande.
However, you should never judge people's bodies based on appearance. They're likely not doing this, and neither should you. It could just be stress.
And let's just say, as people living in New York, we see this firsthand.
100%.
Like, New York City skinny is different than Southern skinny, is different than other. New York City skinny is
crazy. And we
crazy.
We also, like, we interact with the dance world a lot, and
the fashion world,
and the theater world, and all that, those different hemispheres that are like intersecting in this one place. And it's insane to see. It's been progressing for decades, if not centuries, but we're just a victim of a place that doesn't like us.
Yeah, we took 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. Also, we're in New York City. I know when you're in like rural places and other, like, you might think like, oh, this like Ozempic stuff is just online, but it's really not. It's on the CV. It's on billboards. It's at the subway stations. It's everywhere. It's literally, in my public speaking class, someone called it an ozempdemic, and I think it's the truth. It's everywhere. People are on it. The girls aren't going to tell you, but they're having stomach issues, okay? They pooping themselves over.
Yeah, also
over to be skinny. Like,
the hyperfixation on customized advertisements is crazy, because these corporations that are pushing these like weight loss things that are essentially Ozempic, like Hims, they use programmatic advertising, they use search engine optimization to specifically target you and be like, you know what? You could lose weight. And I get those ads almost every day, and I look at myself and I was like, I think I'm actually just fine, thank you. Like, how do I tell my computer I'm okay? You know? Like, it's insane.
They look skinnier. Like, there's a clip of Ariana Grande on Jimmy Fallon this year, and from last time she had released an album.
Really? I have not seen that.
Her face is visibly skinnier.
So, like, do you
think... And
think...
it's one of those things that, like, people have been like trying to like defend it, saying like, oh, you don't know what happened. They did the same thing to Chadwick Boseman, and it turned out he had cancer. They did the same thing to Halsey and accused her of drugs, and it turns out she had cancer. And I'm like,
do they both have cancer?
But no, I'm like, that shouldn't be the takeaway.
Yeah.
I think you're missing the point. That typically when someone is losing weight and is looking sickly and literally skeletal compared to how they used to, there's something wrong. Like that's the point. There's usually something wrong.
It's not the point that
we shouldn't
skinniness
judge
equals cancer.
Like, no, the
No,
point is there's reason for people to be like, hey, is everything okay? And like, I saw this TikTok. Honestly, I'm probably going to put it here if I haven't put it here already.
No, we can absolutely talk about the way that celebrities are deteriorating in front of our eyes, and maybe not talk necessarily with a focus on their body, but how it affects the public at large. Because what the fuck? And because I am talking about bodies, I'm not going to add pictures because I don't want to trigger anybody. But the other day, I was watching a video of Christina Aguilera, right? She is in her 40s. She's on stage with Sabrina Carpenter. Looks phenomenal, looks amazing. I almost can't tell the difference between the two. I even showed my husband, and my husband's like, how old is she again? I was like, I'm 31. So she is at bare minimum 40. And they're the exact same size. And he was like, oh, you know, she looks really different. Like, is it the hair? And I'm like, actually, she lost like a lot of weight. And he's like, that's kind of crazy. Like, how much weight? So I showed him some before and after pictures, and he's like, is it the O? And I was like, probably, but I don't know. And then to see some of the discourse about Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande and the fact that they are almost gauntly. I think that there is a major difference between picking someone's appearance apart and saying, hey, this is kind of dangerous, especially in a time where we have already started discussing how much ED culture is coming back. I am fighting tooth and nail, if I'm going to be honest, to avoid getting back into really bad habits because of how bad everything has become. And I thought, oh, maybe it's my social media, you know, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. No, babe. This is a cultural thing right now. This is, the paradigm has shifted. And I understand part of it because there was so much of this like frustration with the body positivity movement. I've talked about this before. I talked about the quote unquote body diversity that people were looking for, and how it went from, let's include different people, predominantly, Black and brown people. For a period, Mucha Prada did not want to have anything beside blonde, skinny, white, Eastern European girls on the runway. Jordan Dunn, as I will always talk about, was one of the first Black faces to come back to not only Mucha Prada, but like top model, supermodel status, walking again after a 10-year drought of color. Okay, because a lot of times a certain standard of beauty is praised, and this skinny, petite, frail white needs to be noted given everything else going on in the world. And I know someone might be like, Cynthia Erivo's not, yeah, she's not, but the body type. You see what I'm saying? We're getting into like a very dangerous precedent really quickly. As someone who grew up through the like 2000s, I didn't have an eating disorder as a child because my parents didn't let me watch a lot of kids' TV shows. I had a very curated media list that I was allowed to like engage with. I didn't even read teen magazines till I was probably 16 or 17 years old. And even then, my parents diligently were talking to me about the stuff that I was reading and having me really look into each and everything, as well as knowing a few models at the time that were showing up in these magazines and knowing what was kind of going on behind the scenes and being able to kind of process that in a way at an early age that sometimes I feel like adults right now aren't even doing. And this isn't to tear them down or apart. It's to say I'm worried because these girls also have people, women, grown-ass women, these women in their 30s and 40s, also have people in their corner who are taking care of them. Maybe not in a handler-esque situation, that's a whole other conversation, but people who are quite literally making sure they stay alive. And not all other people are going to have that. And they're going to have access to the best doctors when organs start failing or teeth start decaying or hair loss is happening. They're going to be able to find clothes that are going to properly hide whatever. And the general public is not. I'm not trying to sound like an alarmist, and I'm not even trying, again, to bash them, but it is important that we notice these things and we ask ourselves, why is this happening right now? And look at it contextually. And be mindful, so hopefully we can help people in our own personal life.
For me, I think it's a deeper rooted problem with them specifically. If they have the means to do it, then they're not doing it for reasons beyond my thought process.
Yeah.
You know, and
honestly, I'm not even saying this to like knock them. Like, at the end of the day, like, it's your life. Like, what am I gonna do? Force you? Like, I'm not gonna cry over it. But at the same time, like, I still think it's an important conversation for people to have, not just in like a blamey way of like, look what you're doing to the youth, but in like a conversation about just transparency when it comes to health. Like, I think it's, if they want to lose weight and they want to look a certain way, and they have the means to do that healthily, then like, I mean, I guess we can't stop them, but I don't think that means that people have to pretend that it's normal.
Yeah.
Like, let's not pretend that's normal. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if someone wants to get a nose job for XYZ reason, and they have the means to do that, and it's not affecting anyone else, then, like, pop off, I guess. You know what I mean? But, like, we can still acknowledge that, like, that is the different thing, not the norm. And we can still have the conversation about, like, the implications of that and why that might happen and what the issues and what that might say about us as a society. So this isn't, like, supposed to be, like, a blamey thing of, like, oh my gosh, look what they're doing. Because at the end of the day, it's not Cynthia and Ariana's job to raise your kids. It's not Cynthia and Ariana. They're not responsible for your self-esteem. But I still think it's an important discussion for us to have as a society, because when we create this, like, normalization of spaces that catapult these body types to the forefront, in response or simultaneously, like, it just naturally happens that people that don't fit that are going to be affected negatively. Yeah. When this hyper, like, super skinny body type is pushed to the forefront. And I think that's the thing that people are worried about, is feeling uncomfortable in their skin again after all the, like, a decade of pushing body positivity and it's okay to be curvy. Yeah. It's like, well, damn, like, do people gotta step back into the closet again? Like,
honestly, to add on to that with me specifically, and I know a lot of the people that also consume the media I consume about it, is Ariana Grande for so long was the epitome of beauty. Everybody was like, she's stunning, she's short, she's tiny, she's got those long legs, beautiful hair, beautiful vocals, beautiful makeup, everything. She's doing it. But when the person that not necessarily sets the standard, but is part of the standard, moves the standard further, what does that mean for the rest of us? You know, I'm not saying that she's consciously making these choices to move the, like, standardization, but that's how people consume media.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they use one specific person to, like, hyperfixate on and be like, that's
and it's not
skinny.
Just one. We're just talking about that because that's the topic at hand.
Yes.
But it's so many people. Like, we'll put pictures up right now. I don't give a damn. I'm just kidding. But it's so many people that have been hopping on this coming back up trend of skinny being synonymous with pretty. And it's popping up everywhere, and it's the influences, it's the media people are consuming, and it does affect people in real life, like, especially when you're in a New York City, where New York City is like the internet in real life. Everything you think only, for real, everything you think only exists online, no, it's on the streets here. Yeah, like, honestly. Everything you think that's fake, no, people are doing it here. Yes. Every trend you think just exists on the internet, or you saw it on TikTok, no. It exists. It's real. Here. It's here.
Just a quick little story, I promise, about that specifically. You know the naked cowboy and the naked cowgirl, but the naked cowgirl is actually just screaming at you all the time?
What?
Okay, well, they're in Times Square, and there's a naked cowboy, and then there's a naked cowgirl. It's like, there's a vine.
They're always there.
Yeah, they're always there. I worked in Times Square at a specific company, and they came inside naked and started screaming at, like, guests, and I was like, guys, you have to leave. Like, you guys have to leave. Also, we are a no shirt, no shoe, like, you have to leave policy. So, either buy the clothes or get out. And that's
not the country.
That's
get out.
Get out of here. But that's my little story for the day. Anyway, but that's our hot take about that. And I don't think it's a hot take. I think it's just
just a conversation that
needs to be started. I agree. And I think if there's something that can come out of this, it's that everybody's different, like in the sense of what's healthy for them or what's the standard.
And
we
also
can't,
just
like,
the dangers of
yeah.
idolizing people too heavily and looking to people to be your like inspo for life, because sometimes they just have access to things that you just do not have access to. You can't always apply their lifestyle to yours. It just won't work.
I agree. Moving on to something a little bit more New York City,
a little more fun.
There was actually one in Chicago, I think, too. But the look-alike contest.
I'm sure you've been seeing these look-alike contests popping up everywhere. The one that like started it off. Not that started it off, but the one that popularized it the most.
Captured my attention.
Yeah, was the Timothée Chalamet lookalike contest.
And he showed up. He showed up, and somebody got arrested.
Exactly, because NYPD has nothing better to do.
Then harass Timothée Chalamet.
So for real.
Just because he gave half the NYU population chlamydia doesn't mean he's doing any more better.
What? I don't know nothing about that. Allegedly. Word on the street, a little birdie told me.
Washington Square Park posts. No, I that was insane, and I think there just was a Jeremy Allen White one.
Yes.
There's more coming up, I think. I want to start going, and because there was, I can't remember, there was one.
A Zayn Malik one?
Zayn Malik, that was that one. And it was, I just want to go, and like my friend did it, and I want to do it now, where they hold up a sign, and they just say, looking for man.
Yeah.
Looking for man. You do one for a Harry Styles lookalike concert, and there.
Period.
Harry Styles lookalike, I am attending. Pedro Pascal,
I know they have coming up, there's going to be a Zendaya one somewhere.
Oh, I'm going.
To be, I don't know if it's even in New York, but and I know there's going to be, Zendaya, I think Jungkook, I think someone else in LA, unless LA is Zendaya. But yeah, they're doing more of them. I think it's so cute, and I think it's so symbolic of the fact that people want community.
Yeah.
Like, not just on the internet, but in real life, and that even though people online say like, oh, XYZ is so cringy, like in real life, the truth always of what people are saying on the internet always comes to fruition in real life. People want community, people want things to do, people want vibrance that we just lost during COVID.
Yeah.
People want lightheartedness, something to look forward to, not negative things, and I think it's just really nice that the internet is being used as a tool to give those things to people. I really like that.
Essentially, during COVID, like, your community was not chosen to be taken away from you. It was ripped out of your hand. Like, regardless, there were online communities forming, but there's something to say about the personal connection. And if these people can, like, find a community for having attraction to Jeremy Allen White, or everybody looks like Zayn Malik, like, just that is so beautiful to me, and I love it so much, and I want to be a part of it, and I want to find a man. I want to be there, or a woman. I would love to date somebody that looks similar to Zendaya, not to like hyperfixate on that, but like Zendaya is gorgeous. I've loved her since Casey Undercover.
Not the cover.
I ate that up. Undercover. And then Bella Thorne was in there, and like I was eating them up. I was like, you guys are my everything. That's how I know I wasn't completely gay.
Our next one, we're back in the controversy. This week in the news,
putting ourselves in it.
We'll put the TikTok right here. Long story short, they're doing a live action remake, which, all of these like live action remakes are their own. People have their own opinions on the like surplus of them anyways, but they're doing a live action remake of How to Train Your Dragon. We will put the TikTok that is circulating the internet right here. Okay, so y'all just saw that. But they did.
What the fuck? And before you start with me, yeah, it has to do with her race. Because this is a story about Vikings. Look at the real Astrid. Blonde hair, blue eyes. People love to throw out the term whitewashed a lot, but I would really love to discuss what kind of color washing is happening to every live action movie that comes out now. Didn't need it. Definitely didn't need it. Still don't want it. And here you guys are basically making the Lion King live action with How to Train Your Dragon. Just because you hired real actors does not mean that you're not gonna have to CGI half that fucking movie. That's not even the point. I was willing to let go of the CGI thing when you weren't gonna do another race swap. What is so hard about staying true to the original stories? Do we have to keep reinventing them? Because obviously no one likes them. Except for the loudmouth stars that you choose to do them, of course. Because here is the new Astrid saying I could never do America Ferrera's interpretation of Astrid because I am not her. Well, then maybe you shouldn't be her. Honestly, I think we're at the point where we can start calling this cultural appropriation. You know, I was willing to let go of the mermaid thing and the blue fairy thing and all these things because those are just mythological, made-up things. But now you're just distorting history so that you can effectively pander. I hear a lot of people complain that we don't talk about Black history enough. Well, yeah, maybe it's because y'all are busy stealing everyone else's history.
Y'all just saw that. Now, real quick, before we continue, for context, the girl in question that is going to be playing the How to Train Your Dragon girl, first off, that character was voiced by Barbie Ferreira? Ferreira? Is that how you say her name?
Barbie Ferrer? Or are you talking about America?
Oh, girl, I done got the wrong person. Cut the camera, so I'll just chop that out. First of all, before we get into, like, the just insane things that were just, not her. That's the girl from Euphoria.
That is the girl. Are you talking about I don't know.
Yeah.
You're talking about her?
Ferreira. Okay. First of all, before we get into all the crazy things that were said, this whole thing about, like, oh my gosh, like, we have to keep the continuity. America Ferrera was the one that voiced the girl, so even, like, initially, she's so mad that it's not, like, a blonde white girl. The racial continuity is still not there from the, like, initial person that voiced it. So, like, she should have been barking then if she's barking now. But on top of that, the girl that she's complaining about playing the character is literally like a quarter black and is actually a natural blonde if you look at her baby pictures that have been circling around. And not only that, she's talking about continuity this and oh my gosh, stealing characters this, but it's about training dragons.
It's about training dragons.
It's fictional AF.
There is something to be said. If it was like a timepiece where they were like trying to go back and like recreate what the Viking Age was like, but that's not what they're doing. You're training dragons in the woods because you're a little fairy and you want to do that.
Literally, it's about dragons. They just needed to give it some sort of context, so they threw in that Viking BS. It's not about, like, it is not that deep.
I assume that girl, I think she just has so many racist thoughts running in her head. She brought up Cynthia playing Elphaba in Wicked. Like, the TikTok, she was like, how about these people and these people? And I was like, Elphaba's green.
Literally.
How are you going to assign a race to a character who's green? Like, what are we even talking about?
She's green and she lives in Oz. Like, she lives in Oz.
And she rides the broom.
With a Tin Man. And, like...
where Tin Men can exist.
Where Tin Men and people made of straw exist. What are you talking about?
What are you even talking about right now? I don't know. She irritates me so much. Her face, her voice, everything irritates me. I think she was subject to the Hydro Flask era where it was like the Visco girls. She was definitely a Visco girl. Okay? She was out there being racist in the sake of Visco and Hydro Flask.
Oh. I wasn't there for that little moment, but I believe you, period.
That's just me.
But I think also this speaks to a bigger conversation about white normativity. Which is essentially the concept of white people being assumed as the norm and everything and everyone outside of that is something extra or needs some sort of asterisk or...
yeah, like they're the afterthought.
What's the little dash?
I would just call it a dash.
Okay, a dash. It goes for, like, everything, like, heteronormativity, the norm of, like, people being, like, able-bodied. Like, unless there's specifically a storyline about someone's race or about someone's sexuality or about someone's ability level or weight, then they have to fit the norm. It has to be heterosexual, white, able-bodied, relatively skinny. But if not, then it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like a lot of the rage is kind of coming from, especially when it's these mythical ass characters and people are complaining about it. I think it's really internalized white normativity. She sees a character that was white being played by someone that's not white in the live action, and she's not even really tripping over the character.
Yeah.
She's just tripping over internalized white normativity, saying, like, alarms going, oh my gosh, something's wrong, this isn't right, this shouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
And which I find interesting because people say, if the shoe was on the other foot, the shoe can't really be on the other foot because up until, like, 2020, people of color weren't really getting casted in main character roles unless the storyline revolved around their race. So you can't really swap the race. Like, we're gonna have a slave movie with a bunch of white people.
Yeah, like what are you talking
what
about?
What are you
right
gonna
now?
do? You can't really swap the race because 9 times out of 10, people of color don't get roles unless it revolves around their race because of white normativity. Mind you, the roles have been reversed many times in the past. Angelina Jolie did a whole movie playing a biracial girl, a biracial woman. They just tan her skin a little bit and gave her some curly hair, and her career is perfectly intact. She just this year got an 8-minute long standing ovation. So let's not talk about the shoe on the other foot. Pirates of the Caribbean was full of white people. What do you mean if the shoe is on the other foot?
You can't, when you're talking specifically about race, you can't say, like, what if the shoe was on the other foot, because the minorities don't have the systematic capability to have the shoe on the other foot. White people have the privilege of saying that because we are the oppressors, not the oppressed.
Period. I know some people are not going to like that one, but it is what it is. Like, wake up. I don't know what to tell you. Cope. Because I already know this conversation isn't going to end because people are already continuing to complain about the falling apart or, like, the cracking of white normativity that's happening in media right now. It's like anytime someone that isn't white gets a main role, people are like, see, look what they're doing. They're taking roles. Just make your own movies. Da 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 da. Any single time that happens, especially one of the biggest ones was with The Little Mermaid, when literally
she's a mermaid.
The people that casted Halle Bailey came out and said they only casted based off of who had the best voice.
And she was Ariel.
And she had the voice. Mind you, people are complaining, it should have been this person, it should have been this person. And every person they're suggesting can't sing. So like now what?
And I just think it's so interesting when there's a space that isn't necessarily meant to bring race as a dividing factor into the conversation, like fictional movies with dragons and mermaids and stuff like that. People just feel the need to draw a parallelism from our culture to theirs as if it's the exact same, which it's not. You know? Like, you can't draw that because like it's a make-believe world. Like,
it's a make-believe world.
Like, do you think a mermaid is like, oh, she's a black mermaid, she's a white mermaid?
For real.
No, they don't care. They're mermaids.
Wasn't the crab, like, Jamaican or something?
The crab is Jamaican.
Like,
where'd you get your Jamaican accent?
For real. What are y'all talking about?
Honestly. Like, but yeah, that's crazy.
We just
I don't understand it.
People need to chill out. Mind you, like, they're like, but what if we swap this? What if we swap that? Let's be so serious. If they were to make a white Tiana, because people love that one. If they were to make a white Tiana, not even white people would go see that.
No.
Like, not even you complaining right now that Miss How to Train Your Dragon, which you probably didn't even watch, it probably not even your favorite movie, not even you would see a race swaps. Like, you wouldn't even go see, like, Asian slaves. You wouldn't even go see that. You wouldn't even go see a white Mulan. You wouldn't even see that. Like, that's how you know people are just talking. Like,
yeah, I think that, like, the general concept is when the character is part of their identity is being African American or being white or something like that, you can't just switch them out. But when that identity has nothing to do with it,
exactly,
there's no problem in doing that because it's not central to their identity.
Exactly.
Same thing.
It's
with
not about
straight
owning
men.
a character. It's about keeping true to an identity. Now that we done pissed everybody off, we're gonna finish off the video
with something fun.
Something fun, and we might make this a game. Like, we're at the end of every video, we scroll through Twitter a little bit. Or whatever app, because I'm actually on Blue Sky, so I'll drop my Blue Sky in the description.
What is Blue Sky?
Twitter's replacement.
Oh, I gotta get Blue Sky then.
Yes. Popbase tweeted, "What's your unpopular pop culture opinion?" And we're gonna scroll through some of the replies and just respond to some of the opinion.
The very first one is by Buffy's, and it says, "Eternal Sunshine is Ariana Grande's greatest album."
I think that's... It's too short for that to be true.
I agree.
It's too short.
I love Eternal Sunshine. Like, don't get me started on all the intro track. Like, it's just beautiful. It's beautifully made. Everything about it is well written. However, there have been albums that had longevity in their popularness, I guess, if that's the right way to phrase it. And in the actual, like, track. Like, it was long and every single song it ate. Like, there are some skip songs on Eternal Sunshine. I'm not even gonna lie.
And it's a relatively short album, so I think that one's a bit much.
Yes.
The next one is...
Chaperone is ruining her own career.
I feel like ruining's too strong of a word.
Yeah, I think ruining is too strong. I think all of the notions that she is pushing at least the ones that I have seen, have been something I would like to align myself with and I agree with. I think that because you make art doesn't mean that you are subjecting yourself to constant scrutiny and to giving away your life. I don't think that's something that we should normalize. And I also think that the amount of paparazzis are just a lot, and the rudeness of them. These are artists that are putting forth their work, basically wearing their heart on their sleeve, and you're making a buck, which, get your coin, girl, I get it. But, like, at the same time, I think her standing up for herself is something that we haven't seen in a long time, and I think it's beautiful, but it is harming her career, having said that.
And I do wonder how it's affecting her behind the scenes. Like, is she getting, like, a reputation for being difficult to work with?
Yeah.
Like, because she be yelling at people at the carpet. I'm like,
well,
So, like, I wonder how it is affecting her a little bit.
Honestly, I know that she had, like, cried on stage and was, like, saying how her career is going really fast and, like, she doesn't know how to respond to it. That was a couple months ago. She was recently left SNL because she hosted... Or she was the musical talent? I can't remember.
I also...
but
didn't she cancel a couple dates?
Yeah, I think so. And they booed her. They booed and said she sucked. She was a B word, like all this stuff. And I was like, okay, and you're still there for the coin. Beyonce is overrated.
Let me just say this. That's not an unpopular opinion. Well, it is, but that's just an incorrect opinion. And people say your opinion can't be incorrect. No, it can.
Then that's
But
incorrect.
It can be. And because there's facts that prove that that's not true. If you look at the charts, you look at the stats, you look at the people being nominated, how many of Beyonce's peers are left?
But this next
left?
one speaks to it, where this person says, Beyonce is the blueprint for every artist out there. And yeah.
Exactly.
And yeah, she is.
She was
what
the
do you
first
mean?
woman to go on a stadium tour. And she reset, like, what a stadium tour is supposed to look like with the sets, the outfit changes, the dancers, the choreography, all that. And now, like, she changed the game. She's the reason your faves drop on Fridays.
Yes.
Music Fridays. She started that. She just is.
When
people try to talk about her, I'm like, they're just trying to damage a legacy because they're haters. Like, it's not even... Because anytime you ask a Beyonce hater to explain themselves, outside of, like, her music isn't their taste, they can never really piece together their argument. And that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. We have too many celebrities.
I think that's partially true. I think that being famous and, like, tinsel towns and stuff like that were so popular for a reason, because it was exclusive. Now it feels like every other person you know has, like, a huge Instagram following, or, like, there's, like, they did this XYZ, or they did this XYZ.
Wait, we need to draw the line. Okay, hold on. Not to cut you off, but let me interject. I don't think we have too many celebrities. I think it's better that there are more of them. We don't need this elitist, like, circle. It's boring, it's washed out, and odds are they're just stealing from everyone else to stay relevant. Evidently, I think it's better for it to be a little bit more broad. I think people misunderstand, like, sure, there are lots of celebrities, but not everybody's A-list.
True.
There's tiers to this. There's A, B, C, D, Z list celebrities, and I think that's where it's even. I think also people need to understand the distinction between an influencer and a celebrity, and understand that the concept of an influencer, sure, the title of influencer is new, but the concept is not. They were just called socialites back in the day.
Period.
Like, think Paris Hilton. Really think, what's her talent? Nothing. I would compare her career to, like, anyone else, like, that's just popular for the sake of being popular. You can't really pinpoint why. They just have followers, just have a thing. Back in the day, you had to have money to be a socialite, and you would just be popular for no reason, popping up at all these parties, getting invited to the red carpet, to all this stuff, and no one could really figure out why you were popular, but you just had a big following. Nowadays, that has shifted, and common people are able to make themselves socialites through this title of influencer. So people complain, oh, these TikTokers are at the red carpet. That's probably what they said to Paris, too, and all her friends. Like, you know, that sort of bundle. Even like Kim Kardashian.
Especially
Are
Kim
they not
Kardashian.
influencers? I just think that back in the day, they just called it socialites, and the way to do it was to have money and know people. Now it's a bit more accessible, and I think that's a good thing. I also think people underestimate our population. There are 350 million people in this country. Hollywood might look big, but it's really not. And when you look behind the scenes, everybody's cousins. So, like,
100%.
it's really not that big.
My argument for why we have too many is kind of similar to your argument for why we, like, it's good that we have a lot. It's just that I feel like people get famous, and, like, when I say famous, I understand the difference between influencer and famous, and, like, A, B, C, D list, you know? But in my sense, it's like, you get famous for things that don't matter. You get famous for just, like, being annoying. Like, that one, no offense, no hate, no shade, love everyone, everybody's free to talk their crap, do their thing, but that one individual who sings at celebrities, who, like, sings at, like, people, he's got a lot of followers, and nowhere near A-list, he's, like, E-list, but he's getting famous, and I'm like, I'm tired of seeing him, like, I've had to block certain people. Like, there's this one, YouTube couple that just won't stop, like, role-playing straight guys that are messing around on my For You page. I have blocked both of their accounts. Okay, tell me why I keep seeing them every day being like, my straight bro just thought he would hit on me. I'm like, I hate you. Hey! I don't like you.
I think that's more of a content hate than, like, a overcapacity hate.
I just think people get famous for reasons that aren't adding to any conversation in any way.
And we will talk about that.
In future episodes. Right.
Because honestly, that's not a new concept either. Think, like, reality television.
Reality
so many people that are
television,
hosts, so many people that are just, like, industry clowns. Like, it's always been a thing. I just think that, like, social media is, like, changing the game a bit.
Yeah,
we have our differing opinions.
And
it
we
sounds like
respect
you don't
each
even
other.
think it's cut. Like, you don't even think it's crowded. It sounds like you just want to make cuts.
You know, and yeah.
You just want to make cuts.
I do want to make cuts. I would
Everybody
like to
line up
nominate a list of people that should be deleted.
Everybody has to audition to become an influencer now.
With us.
Line up.
With us, okay? You have to line up. I swipe right and left, and that's it. You don't get a say. You don't get a judicial hearing. This is not fair or even. This is me just being a hater.
Yep.
Anyway, okay, I just have to talk about this one because I think it's hilarious. She says the Beatles were not insects. How is that hot take? Like, it's hilarious.
Period.
Like, yeah.
But they ate.
Yeah, like, they were not Beatles. You are right. They did not just get up and do their little song and dance like Beatles do. Mm-hmm. I don't know. That was just funny to me.
Okay, let's talk about it.
I can't. I'm a white twink.
It's about to get controversial, but we were just
Again.
we were just talking about this. Someone by the name of Karma is a Fad said Brat is not. Damn, you moving too much. Brat is not known by locals, only by white twinks, and I would like to unpack this, but in a less derogatory way, because I can read between the lines at what they're trying to say. And we were talking about this earlier, about how in New York City, Brat is everywhere. Charlie's everywhere. Like, you could have told me, like, hands down, that's album of the year. It's all you hear about. It's on everything. It is everything. Last night she just did her performance here.
And licked something.
She's done so many events here. DJ'd here, did that mural
Boiler
here.
Room.
Yeah. So much it, like, the New York City club scene and, like, other, like, urban areas and the club scenes, like, where the songs would be played, she's on fire. She's the talk. Everybody knows everything. But in, like, rural America, the Midwest, and even just, like, upstate, she's not, like, she's not irrelevant, but it's not as big and as intense as it is here. Like, that's why I feel like, to me, like, in the same way in the Midwest, like, songs like I Had Some Help and a bar song or Tipsy or whatever it was are probably huge. We just don't ever hear them here. Yeah, and I think it's like a regional thing. And because I looked at her numbers, and she didn't even really break into the top 20 on the Billboard Hot 100. She didn't even make it into the top 10 on the Billboard Hot 100. But she did stay on the chart in, like, the, like, 30s, 40s, 50s for, like, 20 weeks. But it just wasn't as big of a hit as I thought it was. Yeah. And I was like, what do you mean? Why aren't her numbers adding up?
Yeah.
Why isn't her placement adding up? Like, in her sales and like placement even on like UK charts. Like what's going on? And I think it's because of that notion that like she's very hot right now, but to a specific demographic.
Yeah.
And I don't mean white swings. I mean like,
hey, as somebody who identifies as queer, I don't call myself a twink, but some might. It's very much in my everyday life. I don't know. I listen to it all the time.
Our realm of like New York City, like college age, you can't escape Charlie.
Mm-mm.
You cannot escape Charlie. Everybody's trying to be Charlie. Everybody's trying to be Charlie. Like everyone's trying to be her. She's gonna be running at you dressing like her, singing like her. Like she's for real. Charlie is everywhere. She's on everything, bro.
Yeah, but like, and one of our friends, one of our mutuals, went to the concert last night, and they talked about how people knew no songs. They just came because it was Charli XCX at the Times Square, and like even like really popular songs.
Yeah. And even like that's the
people
risk.
Are just like.
That's the risk of doing something in Times Square.
Dance!
You're gonna catch locals, not your niche fandom like you would at a concert.
Yes.
And that's where
especially when
it
it's a
really
surprise
puts
and free.
your popularity with the general public to the test. Because even though like if we were to play her at our school, like we could literally walk around with the camera at our school and have people finish the line and we would get through the entire song in one go.
I agree.
Of 360. When you put it in front of the locals, if it's not like it's popular but it's like niche popular, and this kind of reminds me of like other things like K-pop. You look at some of the numbers and like you would think like it's so popular and that everyone's talking about it, and yes, the artists in that sphere are able to sell out like arenas and things like that and like be on the news and everything like that, but then you put it up to the GP and it's like suddenly it doesn't appear to be as popular, and I just think that's so interesting, and I think it's very true for, and it's like a bunch of things like that will happen with like country music. I was looking at different country artists that are like popping right now in like the South and in the Midwest, and none of their tour dates have like anything in the northeastern sphere, like Maine, New York, Maryland, like they don't come on this side in this corner of the state of the country because they're not popular here.
Yeah, I think it speaks to
crazy.
Like demographics and like where you live and what media you're consuming and what people are talking about. Like, not to get political, but like for the election, like I was consuming so much media that like painted the election a certain way that it didn't turn out, and I was like, I was shocked.
Exactly.
I was like, why was I shocked?
Feeds. That's what I'm saying. Like
my curated feed is messing with my head.
Our bubbles. Now that TikTok is popular, and part of the reason that TikTok was so different from Twitter and Instagram is because TikTok, like, you breathe, and whatever you just breathe is on your TikTok feed. And now more spaces are copying that. Like, YouTube won't even load any videos if you have your watch history off.
Yeah,
they won't load anything unless you tell them what you want to see. And it creates these echo chambers where people, it's like warping your realities. And then you look, me, like, my reality was warped. I thought, like, it was hands down Charli was album of the year. And then I look at her, like, chart history for, like, the Brat releases, and I'm like, wait, really? It didn't really... Yeah. It was kind of just, like, meh on the charts? Like, I don't know. And it's, like, not even shade. It's literally just, like, a crazy thought. And especially the election. Living in New York, especially in New York City, and hearing... You would have thought that everyone we're talking to thought she had it in the bag.
Yeah.
Like, everyone thought she had it in the bag.
Like,
It was because of that,
excited,
like, curated
like, it's gonna happen.
experience.
It's gonna be history. Mm-hmm. It was history. Yeah, felon.
yeah,
you're
it was
gonna
history, all right.
Be a felon, twice impeached. What do you mean?
True. I wonder, like, how far is this gonna go? Because at least back in the day, you would see some things outside of your sphere. Like, YouTube, you would still see, like, the trending or, like, a couple videos that you'd be like, I'm not watching that.
Yeah.
But now it's like, no. Like, when I tell you, you watch, like, 5 videos in the same topic, you're going to be stuck on that feed for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Like for a while,
stuck there.
My TikTok was stuck on Good Christian Woman TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it was a bunch of people in the Midwest talking about how their prayers, and I was interacting with it as it was satire, but it wasn't satire. It was true. And I think that Americans especially, they want to act like they don't benefit from hyper customizations of like feeds of products that are offered to you of things like that, but everybody interacts with it every day and you benefit from it, and just because it's creepy, which it is, doesn't mean we're not going to enjoy it any less. Like, we haven't established that boundary as a society yet, so we're going to continue to enjoy it until that boundary is either set or just completely ignored. Yes.
put a song in the background while you do your homework, while you're on the drive, while you're cleaning.
Take your hands off the wheel. I'm kidding. you listen with all of your sensories.
While we just run our mouths. Like, that's what we want to see.
Because at the end of the day, who doesn't want to hear two broke kids living in New York City yap about their experiences and their hot takes on stuff? Especially comms majors. I think comms majors eat it in the bag every day because we use everything as a lens to view the world.
Mm-hmm. It's basically a social science.
Literally, like, we just fall into social sciences about, like, white normativity and, like, lenses and, like, viewership and stuff like that. Like, it really just speaks. But it's great. I think that's going to be it for us today. We enjoyed yapping our yap to you and talking our crap. But, yeah.
If you made it this far in the video, comment your unpopular opinion so next video we can react to the ones that are in the comments. Also, tell us what you think about this lighting. Is it too cold? Is it too... How's the... Okay, also... If you made it this far in the video, comment down below your unpopular opinions. We will react to those in our next video. Let us know what you thought. Was the too many serious topics? Do you like the social commentary more? Or do you like the pop culture, like in the news commentary more? Is there certain ways you want us to lean? Was there any like segments that went on for too long? Thoughts on the songs of the week? Is that like irrelevant? Or should we have just jumped right in? Thoughts on the lighting? Is it too cold in here?
Because we got one warm, one cool. Like, and that's And
send me money for my cash
Send
app
us money. Send us ideas.
Because I need a new laptop. So please do that. And
she does. But that being said, our yap has yapped for this week. We're gonna yap more later, and you're gonna live it.
My name's Tabi.
And I'm Tristan.
And we are
Loud and Wrong. Bye.